Lads on the Brit. It's not great, but it's entertaining. I'm Lynn Hartram, along with Caitlin Greer.
Heyo.
And Lee Hazelnut.
Hold my beer. There you go. I've been practicing. Or in Caitlin's case, hold my greer.
Oh, that's so nice.
Aww.
Nice job.
It's all right. That's it.
Hold
I'm
my
done.
greer,
I'm off
bitch.
now. That's it. That's it. That's all I've got to say. Good night.
Goodbye.
God bless. Right.
It's been a nice day.
And you. Yeah.
That's really funny. Were you holding on to that one for all 8 episodes?
No,
or did you just think of it right now?
actually, when I used to stay at Matt's, I used to walk through his door, let myself in the kitchen door. I know I used to say that a lot to him. It's the first thing I used to say in the mornings. And he
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer, yeah. It's just
Oh, isn't that from that commercial you
it's
were
from a
telling me about?
commercial, yeah. I have to show you, I have to send you the link, Caitlin. You'll understand. It's
It's pretty
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
it's a thing on YouTube where all different nations are having a beer together. And the
Aw.
British bloke is pissing everyone off. And he generally says in the end, says, look, who's worse than me? Name someone that's worse than me. And then the American bloke walks in at the end and says, oh, my beer.
So true.
Yeah.
Now I know why we don't have that commercial here.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a jokey thing on YouTube, but it's a funny
No.
thing. So it's you've seen it, Lynn. So.
There's
Yeah.
a little truth to
Yeah,
it, though.
a
Let's
little
be
bit.
honest.
Yeah, that's
I like your southern accent though. That's really
Oh, good.
hold my beer.
It's
It's a good job.
Hold my beer.
It was good.
Oh, good. Is it really good? Is it?
It's mediocre, but
It's
yeah,
solid.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not bad.
It's medium.
Maybe.
Is it really good?
Is it really?
It's entertaining.
Right.
It's like the show. It's not great, but it's entertaining.
I'll say we've got 8 minutes left before people fucking switch off. So
Hey,
Right?
I know.
Better start talking.
I know. So what are we talking about today?
today I am talking about my favourite UFO encounter of all time. It's not Roswell. It's not Rendlesham Forest incident.
No.
No.
It's not the Shag Harbour incident, and I did say that correctly. In Canada. This incident happened in 1897. So this is where you need Noah and the time trap. And
Just gonna say it.
this is where you
Beat
need
me to the
Noah.
punch.
Yeah,
Get
to
rid
go
of
back.
Noah.
Basically, what's really grasped my interest, I can't remember where I heard the story when, I don't know, but in basically 1897, this sleepy little town called Aurora, which is in North Texas. It's about 20 miles north of Fort Worth. Population 3,000. So, there's not a lot going on there.
Right.
And basically, and this is, now bearing in mind, this is 6 years before the Wright brothers managed to get any flight in the air. Okay.
Right.
So there's nothing in the air. No one ever sees anything in the air, right? Before this time. So
Except fucking birds
And hot air balloons.
and hot air balloons.
yeah, but it's hot air. I mean, there was just getting bins on. Hang on. So I did some digging. Well, not the digging in my patio with the bodies. That's a bit later.
That was later.
That's later.
Kind of
Now I found out that the first ever airship flight was in 1852, but that was in France. I don't know why I'm pointing that way. I don't know.
Is that where France is in relation to where you are?
No, that's where my
Over your
patio
shoulder?
is. That's where my patio
Yeah,
is. But,
France is there.
Yeah. It's
so
in France.
So you got there's France. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know any French
And you
people.
said you weren't
I
going to
haven't
offend
sold
any
France
nation.
already. It was, yeah.
Sorry, France.
no.
Sorry, France.
No, fuck them. So
They already hate
basically,
us.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but basically in 1896 and 1897, all across America, there was a string of these weird sightings of this strange-looking airship.
Really?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. It was first seen in California, in Sacramento. It was numerous sightings dotted all around the country. And of course, people were just baffled about this flying machine that was like, going around this silver object, cigar-shaped object, too high for them to sort of say. But it was reported in various newspapers. What is this object? What is it doing? What the bloody hell's going on, basically?
Yeah.
So basically, now the incident itself happened on. So I'm just referring to my notes. April the 17th, 1897 was the big day in Aurora. Right?
It's a big old day in Aurora.
This is when the incident happened, right? So in a nutshell, in a hazelnut,
Hazelnut.
basically a silver cigar-shaped object, and basically there was a guy that lived there called Judge Proctor. Yeah.
Okay.
Judge. He had a windmill on his property. Now some say it was a windmill, some say it was a wooden construction like a water tower.
Okay.
Just a wooden. There was some sort of tower. It was either a windmill. And so basically, this strange-looking craft has just basically smashed straight into the fucking windmill. Yeah, like a normal day there,
Right. And poor Judge Proctor was like, my fucking windmill.
Well, I mean, I don't know what his insurance said. Whether he was covered for an extraterrestrial smashing into the thing, or whether it's just fire.
Oh my!
I was just gonna say.
I'm covered for a tornado. I'm covered for a fire. An extraterrestrial smashing into it. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
I don't need this. Well, basically, that is what happened. This strange craft just smashed straight into his fucking windmill, caused absolute fucking carnage. The locals had never seen anything like it.
Right.
Hundreds of witnesses, and basically, so what happened? So basically, this is my notes. So this was on the 17th of April. 2 days later.
Yeah.
2 days later. Now there was a news article, right, in the paper. This is the Dallas Morning News covered the story. Okay. Now you would think that an extraterrestrial smashing into someone's windmill would probably make the first page.
No.
The front page.
It's Texas.
No, not for the Dallas Morning News. No, we'll stick that on page 5. That's the day. Yeah, we'll put that in, in the middle of the mundane shit on page 5, because that's all it's worth, really.
Right.
Yeah. No, the most, significant, thing ever in the history of the planet, possibly.
I have a question.
Page 5. Yeah, go on.
Did it smashed into the windmill? Did it crash, or was there still a ship there?
Yeah, I'm gonna cover.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It smashed. It smashed into the windmill. Yeah, it didn't.
Okay.
It didn't land. It smashed.
Okay.
Okay.
I
know I thought my driving was shit.
Right, drunk driving aliens.
It's the first, intergalactic drink driving. Call it what you like. So, so I'm gonna read you the story.
Okay.
Of what this is the news article of the Dallas Morning News on April the 19th. So this is 2 days after the crash. Now this is written by a guy called S.E. Hayden. Okay. He was also an Aurora resident.
All right. Will you read it in a Southern accent?
Oh, fucking hell.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Hold my beer.
About 6 o'clock this morning, the early morning.
You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it.
All right. I thought that was good, but okay.
It was good. Fantastic.
All right. About 6 o'clock this morning, the early risers of Aurora were astonished at the sudden appearance of the airship which has been sailing throughout the country. It sailed directly over the public square, and when it reached the north part of town, collided with the tower of Judge Proctor's windmill and went to pieces with a terrific explosion, scattering debris over several acres of ground, wrecking the windmill and water tank and destroying the judge's flower garden. Right?
Oh.
Honestly,
how dare they?
Yeah, honestly, the fucking cheek of it. The pilot of the ship. What was it?
The cheek of it.
The fucking cheek of it. Not the flower. Right. You can take out the water, not the fucking flower garden. I spent on
my water supply. I don't care. My daisies.
So it said here that says the pilot of the ship is supposed to have been the only one on board, and while his remains are badly disfigured, enough of the original has been picked up to show that he was not an inhabitant of this world.
Ooh.
Okay. T.J. Weems, the US Signal Service officer at this place and an authority on astronomy, gave it his opinion that the pilot was a native from the planet Mars.
How did he know that?
He doesn't.
Well, he
know
doesn't,
that.
do it? I mean, this is at
It's
a
the only other
time,
planet they know
you have
of.
to get into the minds, this is at a time where people thought that there were people at Mars.
Right.
You know, that sort of era. So papers found on his person, evidently the records of his travels, are written in some unknown hieroglyphics and cannot be deciphered. The ship was
How did they know it was the records of his travels then?
Assumption.
Yeah.
It could be the saucer man.
Well, yeah.
Maybe it was some bitch's phone number. It was Judge Proctor's daughter. He's fucking that shit up.
So, it goes on, the ship was too badly wrecked to form conclusions as to its construction or motive power. Lastly, it says, the town is full of people today who are viewing the wreck and gathering specimens of strange metal from the debris. The pilot's funeral will take place tomorrow. Okay?
Oh, that's nice. They had a funeral for him.
So if that's not enough to wet your whistle, another paper covered it, the Fort Worth Register. This is just
Okay.
this is all I could find in it. Basically, it said the pilot, who was not an inhabitant of this world, was given proper Christian burial at the Aurora Cemetery.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he wanted.
Yeah. I thought that's,
That's what it said on that piece of paper was bury me, and it had give me a proper Christian burial.
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, nothing else will suffice. Now you can understand why this made page 5, can't you? Because it's a heck of a story.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, fuck knows what was on page 1 that beat that. I mean,
It was probably like warm out today.
so, yeah.
Water your flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check your gardens.
So by the front of the cemetery gates, there is a plaque there to this day, and it's by the Texas Historical Commission, because they put plaques all over Texas. So I've been to Dealey Plaza. There's one there where JFK was killed and stuff like that. So there's wording on the plaque that says about the town, and it says, this site is also well known because of the legend that a spaceship crashed nearby in 1897, and the pilot killed in the crash was buried here. So you've got 2 newspaper articles. The Texas Historical Commission has, put a plaque up saying there's a fucking.
But they've called it a legend.
Say again.
But they've called it a legend.
Yeah, but we're gonna decipher that. We're gonna decipher that.
Okay.
So what happened to the wreckage? What do you think happened to the wreckage?
Did they turn it into a flower pot?
If only you lived there at the time, Caitlin. Genius.
I'm a genius.
So they thought, what? Clearly the sensible thing. So bearing in mind, Judge Proctor, right? Is his windmill. He's had a right old fucking morning, right?
Right.
He owns a well. I think, you know what we do? We just gather up all the debris and we're going to shove it down my fucking well. That's
Makes
what happened
sense,
to the spaceship. It's down the well. Right. So now we enter Noah the time twat, because we're going to need his time machine. So now we're going
to use our little rice wrists and get somewhere. And get somewhere.
Let me get the stapler out.
Yeah.
So basically 1935, all right, fast forward 1935, a chap called Brawley Oates purchased Judge Proctor's land.
His name was Brawley Oates?
Brawley Oates, and he's probably got his own story in Florida.
Wow.
Come on down to Brawley Oates.
Brawley Oates purchased Judge Proctor's land. So anyway, the first thing you do when you buy a property, you have a right old sort out, don't you? You have a good old sort out. I think I'll clear that out. I mean, when someone buys this property, ultimately they dig up my patio and find, get rid of the bodies. But so anyway, Brawley Oates, he thought, well, I've bought a new property. I'm going to have a bit of a spruce up. I'm going to turn it into my property. So basically, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go and clear out the well.
Oh.
Okay. So what happened is he cleared out the well, and and basically there are pictures of this on the internet, but he developed the most extreme arthritis you could ever get on his hands. Right? Now his hands,
just from clearing out the well.
Just by clearing out the well, whether it's got radiation, whatever, it's contaminated him. Basically, he's now got hands the size of frying pans.
Do you know what he can't do with those hands?
Whoa.
Hold my beer.
Hold my spaceship. So anyway, he's basically, he thought, right, I've now got hands the size of fucking frying pans. I'm fucked off for this. I'm going to seal up the well. So he's put a concrete slab over the top of the well.
Right, like, don't drink this water.
Yeah.
Do not fuck. Yeah, I mean, you know, I've had enough. So anyway, so that's Brawley Oats part of this story. Okay, now we need to know his time machine because we're going forward in time again. 1973.
All right.
Okay.
We're going up to 1973. Right now, there's still stories about this spacecraft crashing.
Right.
Yeah, so it's you know, it's getting on to 80, 90 years later. There's still rumor that this alien has crashed there. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you familiar with MUFON, Caitlin?
No.
I know, Lynn, you are. MUFON are the Mutual UFO Network.
Okay.
Right. So there's a MUFON in every US state. So if someone has a UFO incident, they call UFO incident. They call MUFON. They're not owned by the government. They're not, you know, they're independent. They investigate UFO scenes. And they don't judge people. They collect samples and analyze stuff like that. So basically, MUFON decided to go to the cemetery. They think, well, we're going to have some of this. Joined by a guy called Bill Case, who was he's an aviation writer for the Dallas Times Herald. So they collectively go there. Jim Mars decides to go as well. Lynn, you're probably familiar with Jim Mars. Yeah. Jim Mars is an author on conspiracies and strange phenomena.
He has a cool name.
Yeah, Jim Mars.
Do you think he changed it?
Yeah. He does cover-ups, conspiracies. So basically, you've got an aviation writer, MUFON, and Jim Mars, all, you know, staying within the town. They're knocking on doors for elderly people that, you know, might remember the story and stuff like that. So Bill is saying that all the old people are saying, no, it's true. It's true. It's, you know, they can remember. They can basically vouch for it. So what they found was the town was split in half. Now, bearing in mind, in 1973, the population was about 1,000.
Yeah, it's tiny little.
It's gone down. It's just tiny.
Right.
So basically, they said, right, well, let's go and find this grave. Where is this grave? Let's go and find it. So they find the grave because the locals know where the grave is. And what it is just a small little headstone. It's tiny. And on this headstone, there's no words on it. And it's basically about the size of a child's grave. There's just a picture of a spaceship on this stone. There's no word. It's just carved.
They don't know a name.
Well, they don't know his name.
They don't know. Well, no, they don't know his name, or his age, or whether it's he, she, whatever. But they know it's a shit driver.
Right.
But,
seriously.
You know. So
the spaceship and a beer.
And a beer.
The headstone. Half the headstone looked as if it was missing. Bearing in mind, he's coming on for 100 years old, so he's seen the round. So basically, Bill says, you know what? We'll get a metal detector. Because there's rumours going around that some of the spaceship was buried with the alien.
Okay.
So they run a metal detector over this grave, and it picks up 3 strong readings of metal in different parts of the grave. So basically, they basically MUFON then say, right, can we dig up the grave? They've asked for can we exhume the grave?
Yeah, right.
No, personally, I've never asked. I've just gone ahead and done it. All the
right. Well, I mean, that's your hobby. So whatever your hobby is.
You know, I've never asked. I've just gone ahead and done it. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, they always say no. She should go and do it. You know.
It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
So basically, move on, go and ask the local cemetery, and in the words of Caitlin, they say you can go fuck yourself.
Aw,
You know.
copyright.
Yeah.
So that's a big no. So they said no, you're not digging the grave up, right? So anyway, a couple of months later, Jim Mars gets a phone call from this Bill guy and says, "You're never going to believe what's happened. You need to meet me at the cemetery. Something strange has happened here." So they all basically meet up again at the cemetery. The headstone is now gone. Okay. There is no more readings on the metal detector. Right. There are 3 small holes going into the grave, exactly where the metal was. And Jim went. Apparently, Jim said to Bill, "Who could have done this?" And Bill went, "The government."
Of course
Yeah. So they wasn't apparently they wasn't exactly low key in their approach to finding out. It was a lot of press covered. Their visits.
Right.
And he's obviously got back to someone high up. Because now you've got no headstone, you've got no metal in there. You're not allowed to exhume the body again.
Right.
Someone has beat them to it.
Yeah.
But so anyway, during their findings, they're door knocking. So Jim Mars basically knocks on the door of the locals and says, basically it's 50-50. Some of them say yeah, it's true. Some of them say no, it's a hoax or whatever.
Right.
2 key witnesses. Now, bearing in mind they're old people now. So this first person, Mary Evans, God love her, Mary Evans.
Good old Mary.
She was 15 at the time. She says she remembers the day. She's told the investigation that her parents went to the crash scene, but she wasn't allowed. And she can remember her parents coming back and talking about the scene. So that's Mary.
How old is fucking Mary? When did the crash happen?
1897.
So she had to be like,
Yeah.
she was
90
So this
old.
this is
All
now
right.
1973. She was 15 then.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like 1,000.
Yeah,
Right.
she's like 2000.
My math is correct.
Yeah. So,
Mary's about 1,000.
Charlie Stevens, who was 10 at the time of the crash.
How are these people so fucking old? All right, keep going. Sorry.
So he was 10. He was 10 at the time of the crash, right? He was 3 miles from the town. He was working on some farmland with his dad, and he saw the airship crashing. He saw it.
wow.
He can remember
wow.
seeing it coming down, and it was basically. It said in his words, it was trailing smoke as it plummeted towards Aurora. He wanted to go and see, and basically he remembers the smash and the explosion. Now,
Wow.
they were 3 miles away, so
Wow.
that's how much fucking devastation this creature caused, right?
Wow.
So
Just refer him as a creature.
he wanted to go and see
Specimen.
it, but apparently in his words, his dad said he had chores to do.
Oh well.
So yeah,
I mean, really, fucking Charlie. Is his name Charlie? What's his name?
Charlie Stevens. Yeah.
Really, Charlie Stevens. You gotta fucking rake the leaves before you can go see the insane UFO crash that just
No,
happened.
your bedroom, Charlie, is an absolute fucking disgrace. Sort
Make
that
that
out,
bed, bitch.
sort that
And
out,
then
you can see the dead alien. All right.
His dad had his priorities.
You've got to learn,
right?
Charlie. You've got to learn.
Yeah.
Mr. Stevens didn't fuck around.
No. Didn't come to play.
So those are 2 very keen, people that
Yeah.
can back the story up. So
Yeah.
fast forward to 2008.
Oh my God, we are time traveling
Yeah.
so much
This,
today.
Right?
The thing is, this story will not go away. Okay.
Okay. Well,
So,
it's a good one.
So UFO Hunters, popular
Yes.
show on the Sci-Fi Channel or whatever. Basically, now remember Brawley Oates?
Brawley Oates with his fingers.
Brawley Oates. Good old
You're
Brawley Oates. Right?
Your southern accent is my kryptonite. I can't handle it.
Right.
Oh my god.
Who owned the
Okay.
property? The guy with the fucking hands for frying pan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's now
For
gone.
frying pans, like cracking eggs.
Yeah. I mean, his hands were so bad he could have a game of tennis without using a fucking racket.
Oh,
So,
poor Brawley. Oh,
your turn to serve, Brawley. I don't need a racket. So Tim Oates,
Oh.
who is his
brother?
grandson.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name?
Tim.
Tim.
Deductive reasoning for the win.
Right?
Tin Oats. I like Tin Oats.
Tin Oates, is he related to Hall and Oates?
So he's anyway. So this Tim Oates is the grandson of Brawley. He now owns a property.
Okay.
Right?
So it's still in the family.
It's still in the
It's
family.
the Oats
right?
family.
So basically, UFO hunters go there,
Quaker.
and good old Tim says, "You know what?
That was his uncle.
Was his uncle Quaker? Derailed. This derailed
Oh,
so
God.
fast, and it's because your stupid southern accent. It makes me
Someone
laugh.
doing it on the show, ever.
No, I want you to keep doing it. It's really
I'll
funny.
read the bit right. Tim Oates now owns the property and allowed them to unseal the well.
You sound like Forrest Gump.
Right,
You do sound like Forrest Gump.
so I'll go back to me normal self. Right.
Okay.
Tim basically says, "You know what? Fuck it. You can open the well up. Bollocks. Fuck it. What's the worst that can happen? Okay.
Don't look at my grandfather's hands.
We couldn't bury him because his hands were too fucking big. Yeah.
His hands are the headstone.
So he says, "You know what? Fuck it. Open the well. Let's open sesame, as they say."
Right.
You've got arthritis. You've got arthritis, and you've got arthritis.
So they test the water.
Yeah.
UFO hunters and their team, they said, right, we'll test the water. They found out the water they tested contains large amounts of aluminium.
Aluminum
We said,
for the Americans.
what?
We just clarified that aluminium is aluminum for us
Oh, all right.
stupid Americans.
Oh, okay, fair. Oh, right. Tomato.
Keep going.
Tomato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aluminium, right? No large pieces. No large pieces were found, and were to be assumed it was removed by the previous owner or it's dissolved. Okay. So,
Okay.
Water soluble.
however, guess what they found near the well?
What?
Remnants of good old Judge Proctor's windmill.
Really?
Yes, really. Yeah, they found pieces of what they knew was his windmill.
Now, was his windmill made of aluminium? These are the hard-hitting questions.
Whatever it was, it wasn't very fucking sturdy. That's for sure. It went
You
down.
had a spaceship crash into it.
I
You think
mean,
much is going to withstand that?
No, you,
Like, it's not titanium.
well, you-
if that happened today, it would literally be like
Yeah.
terrorists,
yeah.
terrorists.
Osama bin Alien.
so they found.
I'm still laughing, but I'm like so thirsty. I'm gonna drink. Like, laugh at the same.
Oh my god, you're gonna have to bury me next to freaking Judge Proctor.
Hold your hands up, too.
Okay,
So
I'm
they-
so sorry.
No,
So they found
don't
remnants of the
apologise.
windmill.
No, so they found remnants of the windmill, and they used ground penetrating radar and photos. Because bearing in mind, this grave is now invisible to the naked eye. The gravestone is gone.
Right.
So, but they used old photo because they knew it was near an old oak tree.
Mhm.
So basically, they've used groundbreaking devices to say, right, well, and they basically found an unmarked grave. Basically there.
Okay.
There was an unmarked grave there. they couldn't decipher what was inside the grave, but they also discovered that this plot, it's basically an empty grave. There's an unmarked empty grave there. They know that from the machines that they're using, and it's also near. The nearest graves around it were all from the 1890s.
Mm-hmm. So it was in the right
So
area.
it's in the same decade as the graves around it. So, so basically, that's really where the story sort of ends. Really, there's been no more sort of where else can you go with it. No one's really been. There's this whole stuff on YouTube, but basically, without a body, without the permission to exhume it,
Right.
the metal is gone from it, the headstone is gone from it. So there's this balance of did it happen? Did it happen? Personally, I do think it happened. I do.
Yeah.
There are numerous, that aspects for me is that the former children that were there, now elderly people, have said yes, we saw the crash. It's my parents were involved in it. The fact that the metal was shoved down the well, and then years later they've got this ridiculous radiation all over their hands and stuff like that. So there's been a film about the incident, 1986, and they made a film called The Aurora Encounter. Not seen himself, but treat yourselves, get the popcorn in, have a romantic night in, say, right, we've got a special one for you tonight. We really have, If you want your whistle wet, this is the one. So
I think American men would take that differently.
Yeah.
So
Kenny would be saying, "Hold my Greer."
Yeah, he'd be like, "Hold my Greer."
Hold my Greer.
I have a feeling this is going to be a thing around my household.
So basically,
I hope it is.
Mhm.
So Kenny, please make it a thing. Please.
Yeah.
So
I'm begging you.
So who do you think would be the biggest advocate of the hoax theory?
Of the hoax?
Yeah.
The government.
The government.
No.
Don't roll
What's
your
that
eyes at me,
face?
girl.
What about the former mayor of Aurora?
What about him?
The mayor of Munchkin City? What did he do?
Barbara Brammer. She's a former mayor of Aurora.
Who's also a part of the government.
Well,
Can I just
yes,
point out?
yes. Well, ultimately, yeah.
All right, so fucking Barbara. What does
Barbara
this bitch
basically?
have? What's her problem?
She's done a lot of research and said that
Yeah.
she thinks of reasons why the whole story is a hoax. Okay, so she said that months before the crash, there was a series of tragic events, right, around Aurora. Okay.
Okay.
One, that the local cotton crop was destroyed by infestation. Okay. Two, there was a fire that claimed many buildings and lives, and it wasn't started by spontaneous human combustion either.
Yeah.
I might add.
Thanks for
Three,
answering that question.
there was a planned railroad came within 27 miles, but not Aurora. So there was a lot of unemployment because the railway didn't come to the town. Therefore, in her words, Aurora was dying out. It needed something, a little bit of magic. And it was alleged that, remember good old S.E. Hayden, who wrote the story that made page 5?
Yeah.
It was
The story that broke his career.
Well,
It launched it.
If that doesn't elevate my career, then nothing will.
Yeah, right?
Apparently, he was a bit of a joker, this guy. He was a bit of a prankster. So it says. She reckons it could have been a last-ditch effort to keep the town alive.
On page 5?
Yeah, exactly. Page 5. But she's saying, well, why didn't he write up a follow-up story or report on the funeral? Who knows? I don't know.
Just didn't fucking feel like it.
I feel like it's weird that the only thing that's weird for me, I just like totally turned my head the other way.
That's okay.
The only thing that's weird for me is like they had this body
Right.
and nobody even tried to dig it up until like 70 years later. or what? Like 60? When did they ask permission?
1973.
That's
Oh,
when they
so
tried
80
to
years
exhume
later.
it. So like 80 years of this story, and
Yeah.
not one person was like,
Hmm.
I want to see it.
Yeah,
Well, you
I gotta see it.
Yeah, I suppose.
But this is also before the time of the internet. It's
That's
not
true.
like this
No, that's very
information
true.
was
You know, and-
readily available.
You
for
know,
everybody.
and mainstream news was still in its infancy.
Right.
So, you know, there are probably people in parts of the country that never heard of the incident.
Yeah.
Right.
Read
Into
about the
this day,
incident.
people
It's not
haven't.
like
I
today,
mean-
is it? So, but you raise a good point there, Colin, because that's nearly 100 years later. I think.
Yeah. Like,
It's definitely.
even the townspeople, like,
Yeah.
nobody was curious. Everyone was just okay with, like, a strange craft smashing in, fucking up Proctor's old windmill, and then they were like, let's just bury it.
Well, okay.
Go.
And it was
I'm just
about
curious.
to polish the windmill, Caitlin.
There it is. Took us quite a while to get to a jerk off joke today.
No,
I know.
I
What
gotta
did
say,
What did I say?
props to both of you.
I'm really- it wasn't me,
Totally innocent.
for once.
Okay, so what I was gonna say is, so you got to think about it from the perspective of these people, though, right?
Right.
So they took this being,
Right.
they gave it a Christian burial.
Right.
So they have reverence for the body.
Right.
They may not say, you know what, we're going to go through the trouble of giving it a Christian burial, and let's dig it up.
That's true.
You know, like they've buried it, they've put it away.
Yeah.
They're
That's
not
true.
going to like
Yeah. What I
mess with it
didn't
at this point.
mention.
I get it.
What I didn't mention was that the funeral was on April the 20th. So the crash was on the 17th of April.
Mm-hmm.
So the funeral was 3 days later.
So do we have any record of where the body was for those 3 days?
No, I tried. Believe me, I tried.
Yeah.
I thought, well, it's got to be stored somewhere.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I would imagine.
when-
Probably in somebody's basement.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Old
I don't-
Proctor's
I don't know.
basement. Yeah.
Yeah, but it couldn't have been in good shape.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
Whew.
yeah.
So the other question is, do we know? Okay, so after old frying pan hands took out the metal from the well, I can't remember his name. Oates.
Oates.
How could I forget?
Yeah.
Oates. After Oates took the
Brawley
metal.
Oates.
Brawley out.
After he took the metal out of his well, what happened to the metal? Any record of that?
I don't know.
Do you?
Yeah.
Come on, Lee.
Well, I mean, Brawley Oates couldn't really write down
That is
in his
true.
journal.
Yeah.
He's-
His hands
Yeah.
are a little fucked up, and talk to text wasn't a thing yet.
I mean, the bloke could barely wipe his ass. I mean, he let alone do anything else.
Oh,
But
poor Brawley
Well,
Oates
no,
with the shitty
Uncle,
ass.
Uncle Quaker to help write it
I
down.
know.
fucking hell, Lynn. Fuck.
Oh,
What?
we just made Lee spit his drink out.
so yeah, I think personally the romance in me, as much what's left is in the romance, but I think it happened. I do. I really think it happened,
Yeah.
and it's not because I'm into the UFO thing. I think if you want, I think the metal, the well,
Mm,
the locals, can remember the story.
right.
But the Charlie Adams, who was a boy at the time,
Yeah.
who was now.
The one
I
who
saw a
did his chores.
documentary,
Oh,
and a lot of people around town said no, he was a straight guy. He
Yeah.
he wouldn't fabricate anything. So that's just. I mean, there's a plaque at the fucking cemetery
Right.
Yeah.
saying the pilot from another world has, done
Right.
done a demolition job on the fucking windmill.
Yeah.
So it's made 2 newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great story.
Which back then I would imagine is big news.
Yeah,
It's
Right.
it's
making
a, and
newspapers.
also is the fact that during the whole of 1896 and the beginning of 1897, there was this strange airship scene
Yeah.
over America, and that
Right.
was reported in many newspapers, and it's the same sort of it's a silver cigar-shaped object.
Okay. Yeah. I was just gonna ask. So the descriptions were all the same
Yeah,
of this
They're all,
airship.
yeah, they're all
Okay.
yeah. So and this is 6 years before the Wright brothers even got airplanes up
Right.
in the sky. So
Right. And even though we had hot air balloons, they wouldn't be described as
A
silver
cigar.
cigar shape.
No,
Yeah.
different
yeah.
shape. This
Yeah.
shape.
You
So,
can tell.
Yeah.
so and that's really, you can't, unless you go there with a shovel one night, you're not going to get any more answers than what has already been tried, and then that's really where it's left, and there's probably more questions than answers, and
Yeah.
but it's just a tale that's always fascinated me.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great one.
But yeah, it's I do actually. The thing is as well, it's well, it's one or two things. It's either a hoax,
yeah.
or if it is true, it's arguably the most significant thing that ever happened to this planet.
Right, because it is during that time frame, like you were saying, where there was nothing else really in the sky.
No,
Right.
no.
So
And you
it
think-
takes away the chance of it being a drone, of being an aircraft, of
No.
being a rocket.
Right.
Like none
No,
of those
no,
things
it's
existed.
not.
so.
It's not a satellite falling to earth. It's
Right.
it's arguably the most significant thing ever in the history of this planet. An extraterrestrial smashing into
A windmill
Oh, right, a windmill if you like, but
and a flower garden.
yeah, it might have been a kamikaze alien. Think, you know what? I don't think I can carry on anymore. Do you know what? Fuck it. There's a windmill. That too. That's the biggest thing I can find. Fuck it.
I like how
Yeah.
there's probably literally nothing else around except
Yeah.
for the fucking gigantic windmill or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker has to like hit it. Like, I know you're going down and everything, but you
Yeah.
can't like veer 2 feet to the right
Yeah.
and like miss it. You're gonna fuck this guy's shit up so hard. Like that alien was a dick.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe he
I
had
don't
it
care.
He had it in for Proctor. Maybe Proctor did something to piss him off. Wouldn't let him go out with his daughter.
And the thing is, the fantastic thing is if you're gonna go, you might as well take out the fucking flower bed as well. I mean,
True.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a lovely
you know what?
touch. That is a lovely
Yeah.
touch.
He's like,
Yeah.
I fucking hate daisies.
Yeah, fuck these flowers.
Eat this, Proctor.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what was left of the flower bed, they probably took to his funeral. So
Aw,
I think, you know
that's
what?
sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
You're so sweet about
it's
those
a-
things.
and also the romantic in me thinks, well, if it is true, and it is a creature from another world, it's sad that he's died. It's died here.
Aw,
So
well,
far,
you fucking
so-
shouldn't drink and drive.
Right.
So far
Lessons
from
to be
its home.
learned.
Maybe he was texting.
Oh, maybe.
yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, they're super advanced, so it was probably like,
Yeah.
beep bop beep texting. Because I don't know how to speak alien, and
Yeah.
texting dick pics while you're driving is dangerous.
Yeah, we've all done that. We've all
Lesson,
done it. I mean,
lesson to be
guilty-
learned
You know?
for all.
guilty of that myself.
Some say they can drive a stick,
Yeah, well,
but they can't.
only big men can drive without no hands, Caitlin. Oh,
Oh my god.
sorry.
Oh no.
Oh my god, I don't even know what's happening right now.
So,
Fucking cool though. That's
yeah, that's
cool.
a great story. It is a good one.
thank
And
you.
it always surprises me that it's not a more well-known
Yeah.
story, UFO story, because it does have so many interesting aspects to it.
So is that like the first like kind of well, I
No,
guess
it's not.
Crash? It's not the
Crash, maybe, yes. But I know
Yeah.
there's documentation that people in the past have seen UFOs, like
Right.
George Washington.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Georgie.
Old Georgie boy.
Apparently,
Yeah. Yeah, and even further back. I mean, in medieval art, there's
yeah.
what looks questionably like
Right.
UFOs.
Right.
I think Christopher Columbus documented
Yes.
some lights.
He did.
as well.
That's true.
Was that before or after he like murdered everybody? Didn't
Oh,
Columbus like
fuck.
murder a shitload of people?
He was an asshole.
Yeah.
He really
Fuck
was.
you, Christopher Columbus.
So,
Sail
in the
this
words of-
ocean
in the
blue,
words of you
bitch.
guys, sorry, Christopher Columbus.
No. In the words of Lee, fuck Christopher Columbus.
Is that what we sound like when we do that?
Yeah, you do. You both lean forward. Whatever nation I fucked off, or whatever you say. Sorry, South Wales.
We have southern accents now.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, South Wales.
Yeah.
I said sorry.
Sorry,
Hold my beer.
Memphis.
Oh my
Well,
god.
Memphis, we've had to apologize to several times.
Well,
I
I mean,
know.
all right, I'm a bit unkind maybe, but I was staying in southeast Memphis. I was staying in Bethel Grove. What a fucking shithole that place was.
Means nothing to
Absolute-
me.
Sorry, South Memphis.
No,
Sorry,
no.
Bethel
I mean,
Grove.
what
Son
a
of a bitch.
fucking.
You shithole.
Oh,
I mean, you know, bear in mind,
I'm kidding. I don't know. I've never been.
I'm unaware.
This place was called Bethel Grove, and it was a fucking
Bethel.
hellpit. Basically, all the windows of the street that I was in were all boarded up. There was stray dogs. There was fucking geezers on the corner of the road doing fucking skag deals. You know, just
Sounds like Rochester.
There was only 4 words in that sentence that I knew.
hey,
You said there was skeezers
No,
on
geezers.
the corner doing. Oh, geezers on the corner doing skag deals. I knew like 50% of that sentence.
oh, right, skag is heroin.
Yeah, I figured.
Oh.
Yeah,
I didn't-
yeah.
see, I didn't
A
know
geezer is a man, a bloke.
See, I've heard of it like an old
Old
man.
man is
Yeah.
what
Is a
we call
geezer.
old people geezers.
But that's like a
Oh,
term from the 50s, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many old guys, like heroin
So-
addicts, live.
Right, to be
So,
that.
I mean, that
These
I mean,
geezers?
yeah. So that
Geezers?
was about
Geezers
6
is my new
miles
word.
of the city centre. But the city centre as well, I didn't like. I didn't.
Is
Well,
there anything that you did like in Memphis? Let's try that.
Dunkin'
approach.
Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts.
No.
Taco Bell.
There's one thing I did like, and that was I walked down to the river, the Mississippi River, and I
Mhm.
took some photos down there. So there's a big steamboat down there, and then basically I just fucking pissed off back home.
It's quite a large river. You could see that in multiple states, though.
Yeah, it's-
How about something that's just Memphis?
No.
Nothing.
Nothing, no. I mean, people
And
kept
that's
bugging-
Lee Hazel for the Tourism Board of Memphis. Don't come
I
here.
mean, people kept bugging me in the street. I mean, I thought I went to Starbucks, and from the river to Starbucks. I mean, I get the fact that there's a big homeless problem in. I must have been asked for money about 6 fucking times
Yeah.
in one stretch of road.
Yeah.
And there was even a bloke who was trying to. He told me he was a Vietnam veteran. I thought, what? You were a fucking drummer boy because you only look about 40. And he was trying to sell me a flower. So I keep the flower and give him the money and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, you know what, mate? Fuck off. I'm going for a coffee.
Sorry, Vietnam
vets.
veterans.
Yeah.
That's our job at this point in time. It's just to
I like it.
apologize for
Because
saying
usually, I've never really like been around a human that is more offensive than I am. So it's really nice
But
to,
the thing that's so funny is that it comes out so politely.
that it's not really offensive.
It isn't. Yeah, it's like it is, but it isn't at the same time.
But I like it.
Because
I don't have to say anything.
It's just politely offensive.
I think if we all said it like this, then we could just maybe get away with it more.
But it's constructive criticism.
Oh,
But
is
no,
that what it is?
But I didn't like
Constructive
town. I thought it's
criticism.
a grotty town. Just grot.
Okay.
Grotty.
I'm gonna reel it back in.
But yeah, I mean,
Good call.
as for I mean, Elvis is.
We're still there.
Yeah, that was in
Okay.
that. Whatever part of Memphis that was in, I didn't like that either. Just
And
Back
back to the
Aurora.
UFOs. Let's go. Let's go. I reeled it in. I don't care. I like the derailment, but then we're gonna reel it back in.
Yeah.
So, super cool story.
Yeah, it's a great one.
I have like a million questions, but I know that nobody can answer them, which
Hmm.
I like.
I think that makes it a good story.
Yeah, I think that it's the mystery,
Mm.
the mystery of Aurora and the Oats, and I have every Hall and Oates
The
song
Oats.
stuck in my head right now so much. Literally, just singing Hall and Oates to myself. I'm not gonna sing it to you guys, so you can go fuck yourselves.
No,
but
we haven't gotten any singing in this episode yet.
Nope, it's not happening.
so.
Sorry.
That's the story. So, what do you?
Good job,
What do
Lee.
you think? What do you think?
Well, I do think it's real. I
Yeah.
feel like it's real.
I feel like something happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
There
mean,
were too many like corroborating pieces of
Mhm.
evidence,
Mm.
let's call them, that something happened.
Mm.
I
Right.
don't know what. I mean, I can't imagine that there was, like a little person flying a silver cigar shaped balloon. That's the only thing I could possibly think that it could have been, but that's not possible. So
was it the Wizard of Oz?
it might have been. It was one of the Lollipop Guild.
Yeah.
It was the wizard. We welcome you to Bushland. Done.
Yay, singing!
You're welcome. It's never good. Cool. Well, thanks so much, Lee, for
Yeah,
doing that.
good
That was
job, Lee.
Welcome.
Good job, buddy. Thanks for providing endless amounts of fucking weird inside jokes for the rest of my life.
You're welcome.
Hold my beer.
Hold my Greer.
Hold my Greer.
You can,
Oh, if I ever
use that
renew
tonight,
my
yeah.
vows, that's gonna be in there.
Nice.
What?
I said you could use that tonight, or your husband.
There you go. When you play Ding Dong Ditch.
Oh. It's really just me like poking it and then running around the house.
Fucking ding dong. Oh, it's a
Ding dong, and then I run away.
Or it turns into king dong bitch. I don't know what you're
Ding Dong.
No.
How did you know what they call me?
That's what Kenny says when you do that. King Dong, bitch.
He's like, God,
Yeah.
it's not ding dong, it's king dong. Suck it. What?
What
was
I'm
horrible.
gonna have to find out is the origin of Knockdown Ginger.
I killed Lynn.
Mm.
I killed her.
Mhm.
She's dead. She's back. Yep. So
Mhm.
now I'm gonna say thank you to everyone for listening to this utter nonsense, because this is a doozy. This one was a doozy. I like it. Thank you to fucking all of you. I don't know. I'm not going through the whole thing. Don't forget to tell your friends, tell
Yes.
your
Doctor.
non-friends, tell your doctor,
Tell your Uncle Quaker.
tell your Uncle Quaker Oats. And then like and subscribe and listen to us all the time, and
Mhm.
or not. I don't know. Whatever. But you know what? If you don't believe in this bullshit and you don't like the Quakers and you don't have frying pan arthritis hands, then you can go fuck yourself. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See ya. Hasta la vista. Bye.
Yeah. Welcome to Two Broads and a Brit. Are you serious? Along with Caitlin Greer.
Last name.
I was like thinking of your name.
I can't remember her fucking name.
I almost said
Greer.